Hello guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this crochet bag. It's very simple and it's a crossbody bag. This is one that I made for my daughter and I also made myself one. It's a really handy bag if, say, you are going grocery shopping and you don't want to carry a big bag. If you want to have your hands free, you can just put your card and your phone in here, and it's also a really nice gift for a child. All right, let's get into it. So for this project, you'll need some chunky chenille yarn, a 10mm crochet hook, a tapestry needle, a pair of scissors, some thread, a button, and if you are new to crochet, you might need some stitch markers. So we'll start with a slip knot, leaving a decent tail, and we'll make a slip knot, insert our crochet hook, and make 11 foundation chains. So 1, and 11, and we'll be using single crochet stitches. So if you don't know how to make foundation chains, or if you don't know how to do single crochet stitches, you can check out my crochet basics videos. So skip 1 and single crochet into the second from the hook, and that is insert, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so I'll just carry on doing that and I'll meet you over at the end of the row right there. Okay, so the last stitch, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so if we count our stitches, we should have 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so to start the second row, we'll chain 1 and turn our work. And now we're going to do 10 single crochet stitches into the stitch space. And again, I'll meet you over at the end. Okay, so we're at the end of the second row and we're just going to insert into that stitch space, single crochet, chain 1 and turn. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to keep doing single crochet stitches until we have 27 rows. So this is 1, this is 2, and we're going to carry on until we have 27 rows, and I'll meet you at row 27. Okay, so I'm now on my 27th row and you should have something like this. So I'm going to show you how to do the strap of the bag, which is made up of chains. So I'm just going to finish off my 27th row. So in the last stitch space, I'm going to do a single crochet, and then I'm just going to start doing chains. So 1, I'm going to do about 35 chains. So if you are making this for, say, your daughter or niece, ideally you want to call them over, and then as you do your chains, maybe start with about 30 and then place the bag. So this is a crossbody bag. I think it looks better as a crossbody bag. So you kind of place it on their shoulder, over them, and then see where you want the bag to lay, and that will determine the number of chains that you need. I'm going to go for 35 because that's about the number of chains my daughter needs. So I've done 2, so 3, 4, 5, and I'll meet you at the 35th chain. So I actually decided to make this one for myself since my daughter already has this one. So I placed the bag on myself and kind of laid it across my body and on my hip, and I needed 70 chains to achieve that. So feel free to do the same. Lay the bag against yourself and see how you want the bag to lay. So once you've done that, insert into the first stitch of your last row, yarn over, pull through the stitch and then through that loop. And then you want to yarn over, insert, pull through, and that's what you will fasten off. So if you snip, leaving a decent tail, and then pull that all the way through and fasten that off. Now we are going to take our tapestry needle and weave this end in. So insert. Gonna go down here so I can get into the body of the row. And then I'm just gonna weave that in. And because I'm weaving in on this side, I'm gonna make this side the inside of the bag, and I'll show you that properly. I'll show you what I mean by that once I start structuring the bag. And I'm holding this side so I don't lose the shape of the bag. I don't want to pull it too tight. And then I'm going to go back over. I'm not going to go into the same loop that I just came out of. I'm going to go in this one, and then I'm just going to weave in the other direction. I'm going to turn the bag around just so it's easier for me to do that. And I'm going to stop there. So I'm going to snip right there. And that's all done. I'm also going to weave this end in, which is the tail from my slip knot. Okay, so now this is what we have. We have the body of the bag and we've got the strap. So what we're going to do now is, so this we want to keep as the inside of the bag because this is where we wove our ends in. So essentially what the bag is going to look like is this. So what we want to do is join these ends together, the sides of the bag. But obviously we don't want to do that on the right side of the bag because it's going to show and that's not going to look very nice. So we're going to turn this the other way around like this. So this is the inside of the bag, but we want that to be on the outside when we join our ends so that the stitches don't show. So this part where we started with our slip knots is going to be the flap of the bag. So what I'm going to do is count from here, and I'm going to count 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I'm going to put my stitch mark. I'm going to hold on to the 10th and put my stitch marker in the 20th. Right there. And then I'm going to fold at the 10th and then line up with the beginning right here. And I'm going to join those two together. Right there. So again, I want to make sure I've got the right number of stitches. So I'm going to just make sure I've got 7 on this side. So we have 20 for the body of the bag and we've got 7 for the flap, and we had 27 rows in total. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's right. So now I'm going to join. So to join, so I've got the bottom of the bag right here. So to join, what I want to do is get some yarn, and I want to make sure I'm going to be able to cover this length. So what I want to do is 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to snip there, and that's what I'm going to do to join the first side. So insert into my tapestry needle. So I'm going to insert into the outer V of the side of the stitch, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to insert into the outer V. I'm going to leave a decent tail. So we just want to carry on doing that, aligning the rows to each other. So the first, the second, the third, and we want to go underneath the first, underneath the second, with our needle and then all the way through, pull through, underneath the first, underneath the second with our needle, and then pull through. And do that until we get to the 10th row. And just as you go, just keep checking that you are on the right track. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With this yarn, it's very easy to get it wrong. That's why I'm counting all the way along. So if that helps you, do the same. Now I'm using the inside strand of the stitch, and to be honest, it doesn't matter if you use this one or this one. It really doesn't matter. So just pick anyone, pick the best one that you can, and then just pull the needle through. Now we've got 9 and 10 left, and that's pretty easy to see now. So pick this up, pull through. That was 9, and then now we've got to do 10. Pick this up and pick this up and pull through. So that was the 10th row, which is the last row, but you can still see that we've got this opening at the end, end of the join. So we want to make sure that that's also together. So even though we've put a stitch into the last row, we still want to join the end right here. So what I'm going to do is insert into the whatever loop I can find that's right at the top of the 10th row. I'm going to insert through that, and whatever loop I can find on this side that's right at the top of the 10th row. Actually, I think this is better down here. Yeah, I think that's better. So I'll insert there, pull through, and we've got the top nice and snug over there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this same yarn that I'm working with, and I'm going to start going back down the stitches that I just made until I get to this yarn over here. So that is here. I'm just going to do this as best as I can. Like I said earlier, the nature of this yarn is that it's very thick and it's quite difficult to see, but just do the best that you can going back into the stitches that you just made. So I think there's one here, so I'm going to go in there, just going down. I think there's one here, down again, one here, one here. It's a little easier to see here because the yarn is a bit lighter. So just keep going all the way down the stitch, or down the stitches. Until you get to the same place that you started, which is right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a knot, just a regular knot like that. One, not too tight, and the second one you can pull nice and tight. And then we're going to weave our ends in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this yarn into my needle, and I'm going to go in here, and then I'm going to insert into, I'm going to weave into this row. I'm going to weave this end in as well, but I'm not going to go into the same row. I'm going to come up to the next row so this isn't too bulky. So I'm going to go up in here, not pulling too tight, and then I'm going to go along this row. You can see that that's invisible, we can't really see that. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to this side, and then I'll come back once I've done that. All right, so I've joined my two ends. Now I'm going to turn my bag inside out so those stitches on the side aren't so visible. So that's what we have. And this is the flap of the bag. So now I'm gonna sew the button on. So this is the button I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna place it right here. And then I'm gonna gauge where it needs to go underneath. So I'm gonna just hold on and put my finger there. So it needs to go about there. And so I'm just gonna put a stitch marker there just so I don't lose it. So what we need is a tapestry needle that can fit through the buttonhole. The one I was using before is too big, so I had to get another one. So what I'm gonna do is, still kind of holding on to that point, I'm gonna kind of count so I can get the middle of this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's kind of right there. So that's where I'm going to place my button, over there. So what I want to do is thread my needle, and I'm going to be using this thread, so just any thread is fine that kind of goes with your yarn so it doesn't look off. And then I'm going to keep building the thread until it's quite thick. So I folded it at the top. I'm going to go to the bottom and fold again, and I'm going to keep doing that until I have a thickness of about 10 threads. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go up to about 10. So I think this is okay. So I'm going to cut here. And then I'm going to thread my needle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold like that. And then I'm going to kind of pinch the top, and then I'm going to pop that through the eye of the needle. And then I'm just going to sew this right like any regular button. I'm going to come from the bottom actually, because I want the thread to be at the bottom. So I'm going to go through the buttonhole, through the bottom of the buttonhole to the top. I'm going to leave a tail through the second buttonhole and through the bag. And I'm not doing this tight because this is quite thick. The yarn is quite thick, and obviously the yarn needs to be able to, the button needs to be able to come through. So I'm not doing this very tight at all. Just through the bag and back through the buttonhole. Making sure that's pretty loose, not too tight. In through the bag, and then back through the buttonhole, in through the bag, through the buttonhole and the bag, back through the bag and through the buttonhole. I'm going to do that one more time, and then I'm going to end just through the bag. I'm not bringing it through the buttonhole. Now I'm going to go around the button lots of times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm essentially tightening that. I'm making this nice and tight, this space right here. I'm kind of building the structure of that thread. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't want it to be just loose. I kind of want I want that bit to have some structure to it. I want this bit to have some structure to it. So I'm just going round and round and round until I have about this length. And then I'm going to just make 2 knots or 3. 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm going to cut nice and close so it doesn't show. Right there. And then this should be able to just come through the center of the bag somewhere. So let's say about here. Let's say somewhere here. That kind of serves as the buttonhole right there. And we are all done. I'm just going to fold this a little bit so it kind of lays down. There we go, and we're all done. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.